Hare Krishna. Welcome back to my channel. I am Radhika Piyari and today I am going to share with you the glories of Utpanna Ekadashi. So Sri Suta Goswami said to the Brahmanas that Lord Sri Krishna long time ago had explained about the glories of Sri Ekadashi, the rules and regulations to be followed, and he also explained that if someone hears the glories of this Ekadashi or the sacred text or sacred glories of Ekadashi, then after enjoying happiness in this world, they go to the abode of Lord Sri Hari. Now Arjuna asked Sri Krishna that, "Hey Janardhan, please explain to me what are the benefits one gets when they fast on Ekadashi completely, if they fast by eating once in supper, or if they fast by eating once during midday." So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, explained to Arjuna that, "Hey Arjuna, or hey Prita, this particular Ekadashi which falls during the dark fortnight of the month of Margashirsha, November-December, one should follow fast on this day with full rules and regulations. Now on the Dashami night, which is the day before Ekadashi, during the 8th portion of Dashami, which is when the sun is setting, at that time the one should actually take their supper. After taking their supper, then the next day they should wake up early in the morning and they should bathe either in a river, lake or a pond. Now the benefits when one bathes in a river is much more purifying than doing in a pond, and the benefits one gets by bathing in the lake is more than bathing in a pond. Now if anyone is not able to do among these three, all like any of these three, then they can just bathe with well water. Now after bathing, the person should actually make a prayer in front of the Lord and to Mother Earth by saying the prayer like, "Hey Vasundare, O Mother Earth, O Vishnukrante, O Ashwakrante, please help me and let me fast on this day and remove all the sins of my past lives so that I can be eligible to enter into the abode of Lord Sri Hari after this life." Now during this fasting day, there is a kind of rule. Actually it is for all the Ekadashi, but for this particular Ekadashi it is like you should not be talking to any kind of sinful people, like someone who is a slanderer, someone who actually disregards the Vedic scriptures, someone who has illicit relationships with some other woman or someone else's wives, someone who has killed a Brahmana. So all these kind of people should be avoided to actually communicate with on this particular day. That has been recommended on this Ekadashi. Now after this, the devotee should faithfully observe the rules and regulations and also offer the Lord with first class fruits, flowers and anything which he or she is capable of, and then chant the glories of the Lord, chant as much as the glories he can or she can, then play musical instruments, try to not sleep in the daytime, and in the night time also engage their mind and their tongue into glorifying the Lord. Also on this particular day, it has been explained that one should not commit any sexual intercourse or relationship with other person. Those who are serious about their devotional life or their devotional service, they should actually perform some kind of charity on this particular day, and they should not consider any difference between the dark fortnight Ekadashi and the light fortnight Ekadashi, because the results are the same. And also, if someone who is performing a charity, suppose on the full moon day, when it is a Monday and it is a full moon day, then the particular merit one receives is like 100,000 times more than the regular charity. And one when offers a charity on the Sankranti day, they actually get 400,000 times more than what they get on the regular day. So when one fasts on this particular Ekadashi, then all these merits which has been described on giving charity is achieved by the individual, and also they receive happiness in this material world as well. There are different kinds of merits which a person receives or achieves. Like suppose if someone is feeding a brahmachari, they receive actually 10 times more benefit from it than feeding 10 brahmanas at their place, than performing some kind of Ashwamedh Yagya where the merits are been received. So when fast on this particular Ekadashi, all these merits becomes double time than what the merit can be achieved by performing all those activities. So on this, Arjuna asked Lord Shri Krishna that according to you, O my lord, that thousands of Vedic sacrifices, if they have been done, they do not equal to even one Ekadashi fast. Then how is that so? Can you please explain that to me? So on this, Lord Shri Krishna replies to Arjuna that let me explain to you, Arjuna, why this Ekadashi day is considered to be so auspicious and it is so important, and how the origin of this Ekadashi fast happened. Ekadashi has been considered as one of the most purifying fasting days, or the tithi, is because during the time of Satyuga, there lived a demon whose name was Mura. And he was so terrifying, he was so horrifying that he had actually scared the three worlds, like especially the heavenly planets, and he had actually conquered over the heavenly planets. Now all the demigods, because of this particular fearsome demon, they were scared of him and they ran away from the heavenly planets, and they actually were without any shelter, and they were just wandering on the earth without having any shelter because of this particular demon, because he was causing so much control. He already caused so much control over the entire heavenly planet. So now Indra, and along with the other demigods, he actually goes to Lord Shiva, and they pray actually to Lord Shiva and ask for some kind of protection, because they don't know how to actually get rid of this demon. So on this, Lord Shiva says that you should go to that Lord Jagannatha, who is actually riding on the back of Garuda, and he will be the one who will be helping you to find a solution towards this. And anyone who is surrendering unto the Supreme Lord, then they definitely get the protection. Now, on hearing this, Indra, along with other demigods and also along with Lord Shiva, they go to the place where Lord Jagannath resides. He's actually resting on the water, and then they are asking him, because he's resting and he's kind of in Yog Nidra, they are actually talking to him and they are saying the prayers in order to make him hear them. So what happens here is that they start praying to the Supreme Lord, that in different ways, and then they ask that they have been without any shelter, they are suffering because of this demon and all these incidences which have been happening, and they don't know how to do the things, because this particular demon is assuming the form of the role of the sun god, the water god, and everything, and he's trying to control all the tattvas of the material world. So they need to find a solution, otherwise they don't know where they can actually go. On this, the Supreme Lord opens his eyes, and then he asks Indra that who is this particular demon who has so much power that he can actually control all the demigods. He shows this leela of like being astonished, even though he shows actually that leela of being kind of surprised, but he actually knows everything. He already has that awareness that what has been happening with the demigods. So now here Lord Indra actually explains to Supreme Lord that this particular demon, Mura, he actually is the son of Nadijanga. Now this Nadijanga is actually a demon from the Brahma dynasty, and he possessed a lot of like power and fear. So he gave birth to this inauspicious son whose name was Mura. And now this Mura, he lives in a capital city called Chandravati, and from there he's been controlling all the three worlds, especially the heavenly planets, and he has actually fought with us, and he has defeated us, and we are now shelterless. Now hearing this, what happened was Lord Janardhan actually became very angry, and he said to the demigod that we all should march together to this capital city of Chandravati, of this demon, and they do that. So now the demigods have all the weapons in hand. Lord Supreme Lord is there. Mura sees this along with his demon army. They actually start roaring very loudly in anger, and the demigods, when they are charging there, Mura actually, when the demigods actually are charging this demon and the army, Mura actually cuts off all the weapons of this demigods, and the demigods become so fearful that they start running here and there on the battlefield, leaving the battlefield and all that. So this has been seen by the Supreme Lord, and he actually gets more mad, and then through his weapons he cuts off all the weapons of the demons over there. on the battlefield. Now Mura gets more agitated, and now there is kind of a fight now between the Supreme Lord and Mura. Now Mura also, because being a demon from the Brahma dynasty, he is actually possessing the power of mystic power. So with his mystic power, now this is actually part of Leela, we have to understand this. But what he does is that he actually uses his mystic power, and whatever weapons or whatever like disc and everything, whatever the Lord is using it, he kinds of, through his illusionary power, makes it kind of renders it useless. It doesn't work on it. So the Lord understands that. So Lord leaves all his weapons, and then he starts fighting with Mura, like a combat, like hand to hand, and like body to body. So now with his arms he's fighting with Mura, and they actually fight together for 1,000 celestial years, like demigods years, 1,000. So now in this fighting, when they are doing this arm to arm fighting, and the Lord actually gets very tired. Now this is a Leela, because Ekadashi, Devi Ekadashi has to emerge. So Lord gets tired, and then because he becomes fatigued, he sees a cave around, and then he just goes, like runs into the cave, and he just decides to rest there. Now Mura sees this, and then he says that this killer of the demons, who's been killing all the demons for so many millenniums, I'm going to actually slay him today while he's resting. So as soon as he thinks like that, from the body of the Supreme Lord, an energy, a Mahashakti comes out, and this Mahashakti is actually very brilliantly, like, effulgent and bright complexion, and she has all these weapons in her hands, and she's decorated, and she's like a little girl, but she comes out in front of Mura. Now this is actually the Mahashakti, and this is actually the Ekadashi, which has come out. So now this lady comes out with all these weapons and equipments, and then she starts fighting with Mura. Mura actually becomes very amazed that how this little girl, like looking girl, she's having all this power and strength to actually fight with him. He thinks like that, and then he again starts fighting. Now the vigor and the strength of this Shakti is so strong that Mura starts becoming weak, because he's already been fighting for so many years with the Supreme Lord. So he becomes very, very weak. And when Mura becomes very fatigued, he just uses one last charge, and with his weapons, he's just about to attack Ekadashi. So she just raises her weapon, and she cuts off him, and he's dead on the spot. Now the Supreme Lord, he is awakened, and he opens his eyes, and he sees this demon beheaded in front of him, and he actually looks around and asks that who is this person who actually killed this enemy of mine. So the Ekadashi Devi, or the Shakti, this maiden, is actually in front of the Lord, and she actually says that I was the one who actually beheaded this demon. So the Lord asked him that who are you, who is this maiden who had so much power to actually kill the demon. So this maiden actually says that I have come from your body while you were resting. As soon as this demon thought of harming you, I am your own Mahashakti, your internal potency, who has come out from your body to actually kill this demon. I am that Shakti which causes fearfulness in the heart of your enemies or your demons. So after hearing this, the Supreme Lord becomes so happy with her that he says to her that by doing this, what you have done, by defeating the enemies of the demigods and mine, you have not just pleased me, but you have pleased the entire race of the demigods, and because of this, I want to give you a boon. What boon I can give you? Tell me, and I will grant you that boon. So Ekadashi, or this Devi, she says that because I have killed this demon who was causing all these issues to the demigod, all these problems to the demigod, I desire, if you are pleased with me, that you grant me with that benediction that whoever fasts on this day, on my day, they will be actually able to get rid of all their sins from all their lives. And if they fast completely, they can get rid of all their sins, and they can in the end reach your spiritual abode. And if someone decides to fast but eat once during in the morning time, then they get half of the merit, or once during the evening time, then they get the half of the merit. So please grant me with that benediction. And even if a person who's fasting and they do it with complete devotional attitude, then they become religious in their mindset. So this is the kind of benedictions Ekadashi Devi asks from Lord Sri Hari. Now on this, Supreme Lord smiled and said that, "Hey Devi, whatever you have benediction you have asked from me, I will grant you this benediction. And whoever fast on this Ekadashi, who is my devotee, who is devoted to me, and fast on this day of your appearance, then I will actually wash off all their sins, burn off all their sins, and allow them the entrance to my spiritual abode." And because you are born on the 11th day of the waning moon, which is the 11th Tithi, that is why your name will be Ekadashi. So that's why after Dashami, when the 11th Tithi comes, that is called Ekadashi, and this is the name given to Ekadashi Devi. Now during the waxing and the waning time periods of the moon, so during the waxing moon, also waxing moon means when the moon is going towards the Purnima or the full moon, or waning means when the moon is going towards the new moon. So during the waxing moon, also there comes an 11th Tithi, okay, and which is a bright fortnight, and then the waning also there comes an 11th Tithi. So the Tithi goes from Pratipat, Dvitya, Tritya, like that, on and on, on and on, and then it ends into like from 14th Tithi, like Chaturthi, and then the 15th one is actually Purnima. Then after Purnima, again Pratipat starts, which goes towards the waning moon. So this is how the entire Tithi works, which is actually for 30 days. So that is how it is explained, that how Ekadashi appears on the dark fortnight and the bright fortnight, the 11th Tithi, and one should not consider any difference on fasting on the bright fortnight or the dark fortnight. Fasting on Ekadashi is considered to be the most auspicious. And because on this Ekadashi, the glories of appearance of Ekadashi Tithi have been also explained. That is why also this particular Ekadashi is called Utpanna Ekadashi, because this is a day kind of when this Ekadashi had actually appeared. So one who fasts devotedly on this Ekadashi, chant the glories of the Supreme Lord, remember the pastimes of the Ekadashi glories, they actually get rid of all their sinful deeds from the past and the current life, and they become eligible to enter into the abode of Lord Sri Hari. On the Dwadashi day, also a person should try to eat once, it said in the Mahatmya, and they should also abstain from sexual activities. Also on this Ekadashi day, one should, after offering the incense and flowers and everything, one should also offer lamp to the Supreme Lord. And on the Dwadashi day, one should offer prayers to Lord Pundarikaksha and express to him that, now, oh my Lord, I'm going to break my fast. Now also on the Dwadashi day, there is rules that one must abstain from sexual activity, eat once, do not eat from someone else's place, eat only prasad. So these are kind of different rules also given in the Mahatmya to follow on the Dwadashi for this particular Ekadashi. There are other rules also given, that if one wants to also talk to an outcast on this particular day, then what they can do is they can put a tulsi leaf on their tongue, and then they can talk to those outcasts on the Dwadashi. And the most important thing is that a person who wants to enter the abode of Lord Sri Hari and serve him eternally, they should day and night actually hear the glories of this Ekadashi on the Ekadashi day, on the Dwadashi day, and actually make their mind completely absorbed into the glories of Ekadashi Devi. That's how they will become also eligible, by pleasing the Supreme Lord, to enter into the supreme abode of Sri Hari. So I hope you liked hearing the glories of this Ekadashi. Please make sure to also read about the glories, because the glories are so extensive, and I have taken the main and the gist part of this pastimes, and also some like key points. So make sure you read it again. There is no harm in reading again the glories of the Ekadashi. So I hope your Ekadashi goes well, and with complete surrender and lots of remembrance of the Supreme Lord. Thank you so much for watching. Hare Krishna.